Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read 2 Chronicles 21 to 29, Proverbs 10, and Psalm 18. Let's start. Jehoshaphat started with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. Jehoram his son reigned in his place. He brought the sons of Jehoshaphat, Azariah, Jehu, Zechariah, Azariah, Michael, and Jephthah. All these are the sons of Jehoshaphat king Israel. Their father gave them great gifts, silver, gold, and valuable good possessions. Together, 4 or 5 cities they gave the kingdom to Jehoram because he was the firstborn. And Joram ascended the throne of his father and was established. He killed all his brothers with the sword. And his son, the prince of Israel. Jehoram was 32 years old when he became king. And he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem, walking the way of the kings of Israel as the house said he had done. The daughter Ahab was wife, and the was even said the Lord. And if the Lord was not willing to destroy the house of David because of the covenant he made with David, and since he had promised to give the land to him and to his sons forever. In his days, Edom revolted from the rule of Judah, set the king there. Then Jehoram passed over his commands in all his chariots, and rose by night, and instructed Edom as he served him and his chariot commanders. So Edom revolted from the rule of Judah to his day. At that time, Uzzah revolted from his rule because he had forsaken the Lord, the God of their fathers. However, he high place in the hill country Judah, and the foundation inhabitants of Judah's horde, and made Judah go astray. And the letter came to her elijah prophecy, and pressed the Lord, the God of David, before. As you not walking the way in ways of Jehoshaphat your father, only as King Judah, but walking the way of the kings of Israel, and enticed Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to harm, as the house of Ahab led Israel into harm, and so you could your brothers. Now, if your father's house will better than you, behold, the king will bring a great plague on your people. You will turn your wives and all your possessions, and you yourself will have a severe sickness with the disease of your bowels, until your bowels come out because of the disease day by day. And the Lord stirred against Jehoram, and the Philistines, and the Arabians who were near the Ethiopians. And they came against Judah, invaded, and carried away all their possessions they found that they belonged to King Ahaz's house. With his sons and his wives, so that no son was left to him except Jehoram, his youngest son. After all this, the Lord struck on his bowels with the incurable disease. And in course of time, it ended 2 years. And his bowels came out because of the disease. He endured great agony. His people needed no fire in his honor, like the fires made for his fathers. He was 32 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. And he departed with no one's regret. They buried him in the city of David, but not in the tombs of kings. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem made Ahaziah, his youngest son, king of his place. So the abandoned men that king of the Arabians took him. They killed the oldest son. So Ahaziah, son of Jehoram, king of Judah. And Ahaziah was 22 years old. He began to reign. He reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. His son's name was Athaliah, the granddaughter of Omri. So walked in the ways of the house of Ahab. And his mother was counselor and doing for the There was even the son of the Lord, as the house of Ahab had done. After the death of his father, they made his counsels. And he his counsels to his under. He and the father counseled well with Jehoram, son of Ahab, king of Israel, to make war against Hazael, king of Syria, around with Gilead. And the Syrians wanted to join, and he returned to heal in Jezreel the wounds that he had received at Ramah. He fought against Hazael, king of Syria, and Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to C.Jun, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel, because he was wounded. It was ordained by God that the downfall of Ahaziah should come about through his going to visit Jordan. And when he came there, he went out with Jehoram to meet Jehu, son of Nimshi. And the Lord had anointed to destroy the house of Ahab. When Jehu was executing judge on the house of Ahab, he met the prince of Judah and the sons of Ahaziah's brothers, who attended Ahaziah and killed him. Such Ahaziah as Gashua hiding in Samaria. He was brought to Jehu and put to death. They burned him and said, he is the grandson of Jehoshaphat. And he saw the Lord was hot in the house of Ahaziah. No one able to join the Lord the king. Athaliah joined the mother of Ahaziah's mother, sons there. She raised and destroyed the royal family house of Judah. Jehoshaphat, the daughter of the king, took Joash's son Ahaziah and stole away her among the king's sons, who were about to be put to death. And she put him in his nurse in his bedroom. That's Jehoshaphat, the daughter of King Jehoram, and the wife of Jehoiada the priest. And she was his sister Ahaziah, hid him from Athaliah, so that she had not put him to death. He remained with them 6 years, him and had to go while Athaliah reigned over the land. And the 7th year Jehoiada took courage and entered into covenant with the commands of hundreds. Isaiah son of Jehoram, Ishmael son of Jehoram, Isaiah son of Obed, Isaiah son of Dar, and Elishaphat son of Zishri. They went around through Judah and got believers from all the cities of Judah. And he had the father's house of Israel, and came to Jerusalem, and all his son and kind of the king of the house of the God. And Jehoiada said to him, behold, the king's son Lamech. But the Lord spake concerning the sons of David. And this is the thing you shall do. Every priest and Levite to come off Judah and south. 1/3 you shall be keepers, and 1/3 shall be the king's house, and 1/3 the gate of the foundation. All people shall be in the courts of the house of the Lord. And no one enter the house of the Lord except the priest and minister and Levites. And no one enter the house of the Lord except the priest and minister and Levites. They may enter, for they are holy, but all people shall keep the charge of the Lord. And the leader shall surround the king each of the weapons in his hand. And whoever enters his house shall be put to death. And he the king when he comes and when he goes out. And the original Judah did according to all the Jehoiada the priest commanded. And that each brought men who were to go of Judah on the Sabbath. And those who would come on Judah on the Sabbath, and Jehoiada the priest did unto the divisions. And Jehoiada the priest took captain spears and large and small shields that had been King David's, which sent the house of God. And he set all the people as a guard for the king. Every man was weapons in his hand, for the south side of the house to the north side of the house, around the altar in the house. And he brought out the king's son, put the crown and gave him the testimony. And gave him the testimony, and Jehoiada's sons anointed. He said, long live the king. And Athaliah had noticed the people running, and praising the king, he went to the house of the Lord to the people. And she looked with the king standing by his pillar at the entrance. The captain of the trumpets beside the king, all the people there rejoicing and blowing trumpets, and the singers with the musical instruments lay in the season celebration. And Athaliah tore a curtain, trees, and Jehoiada the priest brought out the captain to say, saying to, out between the ranks, and false said to be put to death. So he said, "Do not put it to death in the house of the Lord." So they laid hands on her, and she went into the whole of the king's house, and put it to death there. And Jehoiada made a covenant between himself and all the people and the king that they should eat the Lord's evil. Well, he went to Hasabah and tore down his altar and image of the broken pieces. He killed Matan and the Christ of bow before the altar. Jehoiada placed a watchman for the house of the Lord under the direction of the priests and Levites. He and David organized to be in charge of Hasabah. Daughter bound for to the Lord as it is written in the law. Rejoicing and singing according to the order of David, he would station the gatekeepers at the gates of Hasabah, so no one should enter who was in any way unclean. He took the captains and nobles, garlands of the heap, and healed the people there. They brought the king out from the Hasabah, and marched through the gates of the king's house. They see the king on the road throne, so all the people there rejoiced. And he was quiet after death, and had been put to death. So Joash was 7 years old, he began to reign. He reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His name was Zibiah bishop, and Joash did what was right in the eyes of all the days of Jehoiada the priest. Jehoiada got for him 2 wives, his sons of those. After Joash decided to restore the house of the Lord, he gathered the priests and the Levites and said to him, "Go out to C.Jun, go from Moab, and to prepare the house of your God from year to year. And see, act quickly." The Levites did not act quickly, so the king told Jehoiada the chief and said to him, "Why have you not required the Levites to bring from Judah and Jerusalem the tax laid by Moses, servant of the Lord, and the congregation of Israel heard the testimony? The sons of Athaliah and that wicked one had broken into Haskell. So he used all the dedicated things that Haskell for the best. So he couldn't come in, and he made a chest and set outside the gate of the Haskell. And when a commission was made to Judah and Jerusalem to bring in for the Lord, the tax that Moses servant of God, they owned Israel in the wilderness. And all the princes and all Hebrew rejoiced and brought that tax, and dropped it into the chest until they finished. And whenever the chest was brought to king's officers by the Levites, and they saw there was much money in it, and the king's secretary offered the chief priest would come and empty the chest, and take it and return it to its place. Thus they did day after day, and collected money in abundance. And the king Jehoiada gave to those who charged the work of the house of the Lord. And hired masons and carpenters to restore the house of the Lord, as the workers in iron and bronze to repair the house of the Lord. So they were engaged in the work of labor, and the repairing went forward in their hands. They restored the house of God to its proper condition and strengthened it. And when they finished, they brought the rest of the money before the king Jehoiada, with who made utensils of the house of the Lord, for those for service and for the burnt offerings, and dish for incense and the vessels for gold and silver. And all her burnt offerings and house of the Lord regularly until all the days of Jehoiada. And Jehoiada grew on 4 days and died. He was 130 years old at his death. They buried him in the city of David among the kings, because he had done good in Israel and toward God in his house. After the death of Jehoiada, the prince of Judah came and paid homage to the king. The king listened to them, and they burned the house of the Lord, and God their fathers, and served the Asherim and the house. Now they came upon Judah and Jerusalem, this good others. He sent prophets among them to bring them back to the Lord. These testified against them, they would not pay attention. And the Spirit of God called Zechariah, son of Jehoiada the priest, and he stood above the people and said to him, "Thus says God, why do you break the commandments of the Lord? He said, you cannot prosper, because you have forsaken the Lord, he has forsaken you." And they conspired against him by command of the king. They stoned with stones to the court of the house of the Lord. As Joash the king did not remember the kindness of Jehoiada, Zechariah's father, Shana, who killed the son. And his dying he stated, "May the Lord see and avenge." And in the year the army of Syrians came against Joash, the king of Judah, and destroyed the prince of the people from among the people. And he sent all the spoil to King Damascus. Though the army of Syrians had come as with few men, the Lord delivered them to him in a very great army. As Judah had forsaken the Lord, the God of the fathers, so seriously judgment on Joash. He departed from him, leaving him severely wounded. And his servants conspired against him because of the blood of the son Jehoiada the priest, and killed him his best, so he died. And they buried him in the city there. They did not bury him in the tombs of the kings. Those who conspired against were Zalah, son of Shemith the Ammonite, and Jehoshaphat, son of Shemith the Moabite. The council of sons of Mary argued against the rebuilding the house of the God of the story of the book of the kings. And Amaz's son reigned in his place. Amaz was 25 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His name was Jehoiada in Jerusalem. He dealt with blood and the Lord, yet not with the whole house, since the royal palace family his. He killed his servants who struck down the king. And his father, when he did not put their children to death, and according to words of the Lord commanded, "For I shall not die because of their children, nor children die because of their fathers. Each one should die for his own sin." And Amazing summoned the men of Judah and set them by father's house under commands of 1,100 for all Judah and Benjamin. He mustered those 20 years old and upward, and found that there were 300,000 choice men, fifth of able, trained with spear and shield. He hired us 100,000 mighty men of valor from Israel for 100 talents of silver. But a man of God came to him and said, "King, do not let the army of Israel go with you. The Lord is not with Israel, with all these Ephraimites, but go act to be strong for them. I should suppose that God will cast you down before the enemy. And God is power to help or to cast down." And he said to me, "God, what shall we do about the 100 talents I have given to the army of Israel?" And then God answered, "The Lord is able to give you much more than this." And the major discharged the army had come to Ephraim to go home again. And he became very angry with Judah and returned home in his anger. And the major encouraged and allowed his people went to fight Saul and struck down 10,000 men instead. And then Judah captured another 10,000 alive and took them to the top of the rock, and threw them down from the top of the rock. They all dashed to pieces. The men of the army whom Amazing sent back, not letting them go with him to battle, raided the siege of Judah from Samaria to Bethlehem and struck down 3,000 people, and they took much more. And Amazing came from striking there. Edomites, he brought the gods to the minister and set them up as his gods and worshipped them, making offerings to them. Therefore the Lord was angry with Amazing, son of the prophet, said to him, "And why restore the gods of the people? You don't die people speaking against it. I made you work as a star. Why should you be struck down? Your whole star, but I know that goes time to destroy you. You could do that, not listen to our counsel. And as you can Judah took counsel, said to Josh and Jehoahaz, said Jacob King is saying, come, let's look one another in the face. And Josh the king is the same word to and as you can do. Assess Lebanon said to Sarah of Lebanon, saying, give your daughter to me as a war. To myself for a wife, and wise beast, well beast of Lebanon, and trample down the thistle. You say, I struck down Adam, and your heart lifted you up in both wings. And that state of having my sheep risk trouble so that you fall. You and Judah with you, but amazing would not listen. For it was of God, in order he might give them to him their enemies. As they sought the God to Adam. So Joash the king is one he and the king of Judah faced one another in battle at Bethshemesh, which belongs to Judah. And Judah is defeated by Israel. Amen fled to his hand, and Joash the king is captured and king of Judah. His son Joash and Ahaz at Bethshemesh and brought him to Jerusalem, and break down the wall of Jerusalem 400 cubits. From the Ephraim gate to the corner gate, seized the golden sword and all the vessels of the house to go, and carry over down. He seized the treasuries of the king's house. As the host of Judah returned to Samaria, and made his son Joash king of Judah the 15 years of death of Joash, son Jehoahaz king of Judah. Rest of deeds of Amazing, first the last of the not in the book of Kings of Judah and Israel. From the time when he turned away from them, and he conspiracy against them in Jerusalem, and fled to Achish, they sent after him to Achish and put him to death there, and brought him upon horses, and he was buried with his father's seed David. And all the people of Judah took Uzziah, who was 16 years old, and made him king instead of his father Amaziah. He built Eloth and restored it to Judah. After the king saw his father Uzziah was 16 years old, and he went away. And he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. His last name was Jechariah of Jerusalem, and he did what's right in the eyes of the Lord. And according to all his father Amaziah had done, he set himself to seek God in the days of Zechariah, and instructed him in the fear of God. As long as he sought the Lord, God made him prosper. He went out and made war his first, and broke through the wall of Gath and the wall of Jabin and the wall of Esther. And he built cities and territory of Esther, somewhere else among the Philistines. And God helped him against the Philistines, and against the Arabians who lived in Gilgal, and against the Midianites. The Ammonites paid tribute to others, fire spread, and the same spread even to the border of Egypt. He became very strong. Moreover, Uzziah built towers in Jerusalem, the corner gate, and at the valley gate, and fortified them. He built towers in the wilderness, and he cut out many cisterns. He had large homes both in the Shepher and the plain. He had farms and vine dressers in the hills and fertile lands. And he loved the soil. Moreover, Uzziah had an army such before. In the vision, according to numbers, in the numbers that must have been by Jill the secretary, and Maaseiah the officer. And the direction had now one of the king's commanders. And the whole number of the heads of 5,000 mighty men of valor was 2,600, and the command was an army of 307,500 who could make war with mighty power to help the king against the enemy. And Uzziah prepared for all the army shields, spears, helmets, crits of mail, bows, and stones for sling. In Jerusalem he made machines, and invented by skillful men to be on the towers and the corners, to shoot arrows and great strength. His range spread far, he was marvelous until he was strong. And when he was strong, he grew proud to destruction. He was unfaithful to the Lord's God, and to the temple of the Lord to burn incense on the altar of incense. His other priests went in often with 80 priests of the Lord, who were men of valor, which took King Uzziah and said to him, it is not for you, Uzziah, to burn incense to the Lord. And for the priests who got sons of Aaron who consecrated to burn incense, go out of the sanctuary, for you don't will bring you to no honor from the Lord God. And Uzziah was angry, and he sent to his hand to burn incense. He became angry with the priest's leprosy, broke out his forehead, and in presence of the priest in the house of the altar of incense. And Uzziah chief and all the priests looked at him, and behold, he was leprous in his forehead. He rushed him out quickly, and he himself hurried to go out, because the Lord had struck him. And King Uzziah was a leper to the day of death, and the leper lived in a separate house. He was excluded from the house of the Lord. And Jotham's son was over the king's house, and burned to people there. And the rest acts Uzziah from first to last. And Uzziah the prophet of Amos wrote, and Uzziah saw his father, and they buried him with his father, and buried for the leper along to the king's. His age he was leper. And Jotham's son reigned in his place. Jotham was 25 years old, and he lived and he was 16 years in Jerusalem. And his name was Jerusalem, and Uzziah, and he deals with the as the Lord. And the Lord according to what his father Uzziah had done. He said, he did not enter the temple. And he still followed corrupt practice. He built up again the house of the Lord, and did much building in the wall very far. Where he built cities in hill country, Judah, and forts and towns of wood hills. And he fought the kings of the Ammonites, and prevailed against it. The Ammonites gave him 100 towns of silver, and 10,000 cores of wheat, and 10,000 of barley. The Ammonites paid him the same amount in the second and third years. Now, so Jotham became mighty, because he ordered all his ways before the Lord's God. And the rest acts of Jotham all his wars and his ways, and behold, they were written in the book of the kings of Israel. And Judah, he was 25 years old, and he began to reign. He reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And Jotham saw his father, and buried him in the city of David, and he had his son in his place. And he was 20 years old, and he began to reign. He reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. He did not do what was right in the eyes of the Lord, his father David. He walked in the ways of the kings of Israel. He even made metal images for the bells. He made offerings of the valley of the son of Hinnom, and burned the sons of the offering, and according to abominations of nations. He and the Lord your uphold he was. He sacrificed and made offerings before him, the high place on the hills and the evergreen tree. If the Lord his God gave him to King Sir, he defeated him and took captive a great number of people, and they brought them to the rest of the graves to give to his hand and King Israel. King Israel struck with great force. And the Pekah son of Remaliah killed 120,000 from Judah in one day, all the men of valor, as they forsaken the Lord, the God of their fathers. And as they treated a mighty man of Ephraim, killed Manasseh the king's son, as reckoned the command in the palace and Elkanah, and they sent authority to the king. And the men of Israel took captive 200,000 of their relatives, women, sons, and daughters. They took much spoil from them, brought the sword to Samaria. The prophet Lord was there, whose name was Oded. And they went out to meet the army that came to Samaria, and said to him, Behold, because the Lord, the God of their fathers, and they was Judah, and gave them to him, and he gathered and raised them, reached out to him. And they intend to subjugate the people of Judah and Jerusalem, male and female, as slaves. Have you not sinned your own against the Lord your God? Now hear me, send back the captives from your brothers, and who will be taken, for the fierce wrath of the Lord is upon you. Send chiefs also the men of Ephraim, Azariah son of Johanan, Berechiah son of Meshullam, Jehiskiah son of Shalom, and Massa son of Hadlai, stood up against those who were coming from the war. And he said to them, You shall not bring out captive, and if you propose to bring upon us guilt against the Lord in addition to our brothers' sins of guilt, our guilt is already written, there's fierce wrath against Israel. So our men left the captives spoiled before the prince and all the assembly. So men had been mentioned by name. And rose took the captives. With spoil they clothed all who were naked among them. They clothed them, gave them sins, provided them with food and drink, and anointed them, carrying all the feeble among them on donkeys. They brought them to the kinsfolk of Jericho. And as the apology, they returned to Samaria. At the time King sent to King of Syria. They had met again been invaded and defeated Judah and carried their captives. The Philistines had made raids in seas in Shephelah, and Negro Judah, and taken Beth Shemesh, Aijalon, and Gederoth, Sokah, his villages, Timnah's villages, and Gimzer's villages. And said, Therefore the Lord humbled you, because they had King Israel. They made Judah accident, for they had been very unfaithful to the Lord. They took off pillars of King of Syria. So Tiglath-Pileser the king of Syria came against them, fighting instead of strengthening him. So for Ahaz took war from the house of the Lord, and Ahaz the king, the prince, and gave tribute to the king of Syria. It did not help him. At the time of his distress, he became yet more faithless to the Lord. This name of King Ahaz, so he sacrificed to the gods of Damascus, and then defeated and said, As the gods of the king of Syria helped them, I sacrificed to them, with me. And the road of him was, and Ahaz got together with the rest of the house of the Lord, and conquered the rest of the house of God, and shut out the door of the house of the Lord. And he made himself altars in every corner of Jerusalem, and he made high places to every offering. High places to make offerings to other gods, provoking to anger the Lord, the God of his fathers. And the rest of his acts and all his ways from first to last, behold, they are written in the book of the king of Judah and Jerusalem. Israel, and they assaulted his fathers, they buried him in the sea. Judah and Jerusalem, for they did not bring him into the tombs of King Israel. And Hezekiah's son reigned in his place. Proverbs 10. The Proverbs of Solomon. Why some makes a cloud fall, the foolish son of sorrow to his mother, for children came by weakness do not profit, the righteous delivers from death. The Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, the Lord's crave not wicked. So I can cause poverty, the hand judge and makes rich. He guides the stomach's prince, and he sleeps the heart of the ratio. And so the hands of the righteous, blessings of the head of righteous, mouth of wicked and sealed ones. And the righteous is blessed, name of the wicked will grow. Watch how I receive commands, so the battle will come to whoever walks and where walks and terror walks. You makes places of will be found out. Whoever wins the eye cause trouble, and the battle will come to her. Mouth of the righteous defends life, and the hand of the wicked conceals violence. Hatred is a trifle, love covers all offenses. On the hip lips of him is understanding, wisdom is found. And the rod is for the back of him like sense. The wise love knowledge, the mouth of four words around me. The rich man loves strong sea, the poverty pours around. The wage of righteous lays to life, the gain of wicked sin. Whoever sees destruction in the path of life, who rejects people leads others astray. Whoever conceals hatred is lying, whoever understands is a fool. Whoever understands is a fool. One word to make transgression not like whoever restrains lips to down the righteous choice so and hard work is a little wife. The lips of righteous people many falls out for lack of sense. Blessed Lord makes rich. He has no sorrow to it. And with it, doing wrong is like a joke to a fool. And the wisdom is placed to a man, saying, What the wicked joke will come upon him, desire the righteous will be granted. And with tempest past the wicked is no more, and the righteous dies forever. Like vinegar to teach the victors, so is slugger to this, and fear the Lord come among his life, the years of the wicked will be sure. Hope the righteous brings joy, the expectation of the wicked will perish. And wait the Lord is strong unto the bones, and destruction deal with those. The righteous will never be removed. Wicked will not dawn, and the mess of righteous brings forth wisdom. And perverse tongue will be cut off. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, the mouth of the wicked is perverse. Psalm 18. I love you, Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress, my deliverer. My God, my rock, in whom I take refuge. My shield and the horn of my salvation, my strong. I call upon the Lord, is worthy to be praised, safe from my enemies. The God is death comes to me, the tongue's destruction itself, but he calls the shoal and tangle me, and says, death go from me. In my stress I call upon the Lord, to my God, cry out in his temple, yet my voice. And we cried to him, reached to tears, and the earth ruined and rock. And I should have said, man, trembling and quake, because he was angry. The crane of his nostril, devouring fire from the man. Glowing coals flame forth from him, he bowed down his kingdom. He acknowledged them the tree, roaring cherubim, for he came circling the wings of the kitten. He made darkness covering his canopy around it, and clouds dark with water. And the brightness before the hailstones and coals of fire broke through his clouds. The Lord is thunder in the heavens, and the Most High in his voice. Hailstones and coals of fire shone his arrows and scattered. Ashford lightnings around them. The channel sea was sinking. The foundation of the world will labor. Ready to be the Lord. The boss of breath in the nostrils, safe from on high he took me. And he drew me out of many waters, directing me from shining me from those who hated me. They were too much for me. They confronted me in day my calamity. The Lord's my support. He brought me out to a broad place. He listened to me because he desired me. The Lord dealt with me according to my righteousness. According to cleanness of my hands, he rewarded me. I kept the ways of the Lord. I had not wickedly depart from my God. All the rules were before me. All statutes I did not put away from me. I was blameless before him. I kept myself from my gifts. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands and his sight. With the merciful, he shows self merciful. With the blameless, he shows self blameless. With the purified, he shows self pure. And with the crooked, he makes us stand torches. You save a humble people, but the haughty eyes you bring down. His you light my lamp. The Lord light my God, light my darkness. But by it I can run against the truth. By my God I can lead perfect. This God's way is perfect. The word of the Lord preaches. Show unto all those who take refuge in him. Who is God but the Lord? And he was a rock and center of God. The Lord God equipped me, strengthened me while I was. He made my feet like the fear of days, set me secure on the heights. He changed my hands for walls, and my arms can bend the broad bones. You have given me the shade of salvation, right hand support me, and your generals made me ready. You have given a white place for my steps under me, and my feet not so. I see my enemies out too, and don't turn back to the consume. I stress the down, not out to rest. They found my feet, equipment, and strength for the battle. You made those rise against the at me, and my enemies send that back to me. I came out to destroy the cry for how does not say. I had to love, but he not instantly. I beat the fire dust before the one. I was mad like the magistrates. You delivered me from strife with the people. You moved me into the hand of the nations. People who might not know accept me, since they heard me, they obey me. Runners came cringing to confound us, lost time came trembling at the fortresses. All legend must be Americans, all to be the God of my salvation. God can be vengeance of these people is under me. He rescued me from my enemies, yes, he exalted me from above those who rose against me. He delivered me from the men of violence. With this I'll praise the Lord and the nations continue. His salvation brings to his king, shows those love to his knowledge. Today was an awesome for all. And as nation I do Lord, say, please praise Father in heaven, have you in you, can you come down earth as in heaven. This is day, but forgive us those who have debtors, these not to chase, but to listen evil. And as the kingdom, and the good for Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.